Good day, everyone. Welcome back to Clean Cut EDC. And today is a good day. People, today is a very good day. Even though it's load shedding, we are talking about the Pickled Steel Odin today. And it is go time. We are doing a full review. Yes, finally, at last, after almost 2.5 months of sitting on this knife, of using this knife, of carrying this knife around, we can finally do a full review on the Pickled Steel Odin. Now, I want you guys to stay tuned for the torture test, right? If you're not interested in my rambling, then that's okay. But please stay tuned for the torture test because that is incredible, right? It is. It really shows you just the durability you'll find and the quality you'll find with a pickled steel knife such as the Pickled Steel Odin. Originally, I wanted to actually do a customization job on this guy. I wanted to do the antique look. So this what you're seeing here at the pocket clip, this bronzy sort of an antique vibe. I wanted to carry that through the knife. So the pivots, I wanted to do the same look. The screws, wanted to do the same look. The liners, unfortunately, I'd have to keep stainless. And then I wanted to do a acid edge with a stone wash on the blade and leave the spine, the switching right here, I wanted to leave silver, right? Because I think that will look great. And just to leave the spine silver will allow me to have some uniformity with the liners also. So yes, but that will be another video and I'm very excited. Can't wait for that. And I have to say, guys, ferric chloride allows you to, the chemical, right? The acid. It allows you to really do fantastic things with your knife. So please, if you're interested in customizing your knives at all, that is something that you definitely should have. There's so many things that you can do if you have ferric chloride. So yeah. Okay, guys, let's jump into this video. I'm going to start off with the torture test, and then I will tell you guys more. This torture test was done by Mornay Swart, not by me, and it features many different things. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Leave a comment if you think it will survive the torture test. As you guys have seen there at the end of the video, it is plainly clear, right, that this thing can take a massive beating and still come out swinging at the end, right? It is basically the Springbok rugby team of knives. That's what we have in the Odin here. So not the biggest knife in the world, right? And someone like me, I do believe that size matters, but hell, man, this thing stands up to just the best of them. Here we have the large honey badger flipper. So you guys can see it's not really a big knife. We have the Hakal, Pickled Steel Hakal, large honey badger flipper. It is a lot smaller than the honey badger. Also, actually, in the Hakal. So it's definitely more a medium-sized knife. Let's test it up against our Capolavoro. Such a cool knife, man. Oh. So more along the size of the Capolavoro. finally, I'm going to test it against a Kaiser. So I have the Kaiser original here. And you can see it's actually about a centimeter bigger than the Kaiser original. This is the original, not the original XL. So you can see there. Definitely need to review this knife also. Amazing button lock knife. And then just one for good luck. Up against our Spyderco Delica. So they are basically the exact same size, right? Obviously the Odin has a lot more when it comes to cutting edge, but they're very, very close in size. Now, guys, let's run through this knife. We have a standard blade shape. We do have some switching there. So we actually do have a reinforced tip because we have this bevel here. So as you saw in the video, right, you can drop this knife on concrete. Nothing will happen to that tip, which is not something that I can say for all knives. I've had some good quality knives that I've dropped and I've completely rolled the tip or even broken it, right? So that's terrific. The standard blade shape is awesome for cutting tasks. I definitely like the straight edge and that little belly there because it allows you to just do so many things, right? Cutting line, like fishing line, cutting rope is a breeze with this guy. Cutting, bread, food, steak is an absolute pleasure with this guy. I do everything with this thing. I will butter my toast with this thing comfortably. So it's just one of those blade shapes that it's not like 100% the best in one area, but it is damn good in all the different areas. And I appreciate that a lot. I'm a big fan of clip points. I'm a big fan of standard blade shapes. Let's check out how this grind functions. Look at that, people. I've had this in 2.5 months, right? It cuts like it is brand new. It is flippin' silky smooth. It is amazing. Oh, because we have this flat grind, but it's not, even though it's not a full flat grind, right? It is the saber grind is so high up, and even at the tip here, we have basically a full flat grind, but the saber grind is so high up that you have very, very little resistance. We also have no thumb stud, so there's nothing to get hooked on. Man, oh man, I can just sit here for hours. Oh, just look at that. Look at that. Are you kidding me, man? What? That's amazing. Oh, always leave myself with a lot to clean up afterwards. Anyway, fantastic slicer, as you guys can clearly see there. Definitely like just the overall look of the blade itself. This belt satin finish on the blade is beautiful. It really is beautiful. And yes, guys, I can't even explain to you this, right? I'm going to put on the light so that you can just clearly see, well, as far as possible. There are no scratches on this D2 blade. And I've used this, right? I've used this a lot. Check. You can see the pivot is already scratched up quite a bit. I've used this. Okay, we've got a little bit of a nick there at the tip, but that's about it. Such a terrific knife. I've dropped this. I've cut cable ties, a lot of cable ties with this. Boxes. Right? I've cut some wood with it the other day. Shaved a chopstick, right? To make some, little curls for the fire. This is a phenomenal thing, man. Yeah. We've got some terrific jimping also on the spine. This is a 3mm blade stock, so quite a nice stock thickness. Definitely good enough for EDC. Thin behind the edge, but super durable. As you guys have seen with the steel test, right? Where he was hammering the knife into another knife, testing the edge. It did pick up a few rolls, as can be expected, but he just sharpened that out. No nicks, no problems at all. So just terrific work on this D2 also. D2 blade, D2 is a good steel. Just take care of it, and it will serve you well. What's interesting to me is that the flipper tab actually down here has a bead blast finish. And I don't quite understand why, but I like it. I like it. I don't understand why at all, but I definitely like it. It's almost like the whole inner system, even the little flipper tab, has a bead blast finish to it, which is very interesting. Does run on ball bearings. The action it's ridiculous, man. It is just terrific. It's not like, it is shake shut, so it's not drop shut, but it's so sturdy. Coming out, you know, with the deployment, it feels like, yeah, it feels powerful. It feels ready to work, man. It feels like it's ready to flip and scrum a thing or something. It's powerful. It's good. Definitely love it. Very snappy action. The flipper tab works great, especially with the jumping on it. Catches your finger nicely, coming down, rolling down the top. You know, catches your finger, deploy. Some knives, you know, they have flipper tabs angling downwards. They have flipper tabs that come in at a 90-degree angle, and it can quickly become uncomfortable for me personally. But this flipper tab is done so well. It's rounded in the perfect space. So you pull the knife and just glide your finger downwards. I've never missed this knife. Never. Not once have I missed this knife ever. So something is done right with the flipper, right? And I'm betting it's the angle of it as well as the jumping. In hand, blade wise, if you want to carve, you can definitely do that with this jumping. Grabs your finger nicely, but doesn't irritate it. Not too aggressive. I wouldn't suggest that you sort of use the flipper tab as a trigger space, because it does angle towards the blade. So, for instance, something like that call, it sort of leaves you, you know, with some traction, or at least a flat space where you can rest your finger on, right? Without it feeling like it's gliding towards the blade at all. So yeah, that straight edge there. But because this is rounded, it sort of does guide your finger towards the blade. So I wouldn't suggest you place your finger on the flipper tab to choke up. But you get plenty of grip back here. I definitely love the aesthetics of the large pivot. It does pick up scratches quite easily. Well, not quite easily, but eventually, right? I've had this 2.5 months, and as you can see, this sits against my pocket, this sits against my keys or my whatever else is in my pocket. So it will pick up some scratches, and also for that reason, I would like to do the antique customization on this knife. But overall, it looks amazing with the large pivot. I wish that other knife companies also did this more often, but yeah. It looks good. I definitely like that. And I'm 100% sure that it adds towards the durability. So interesting enough, the pivot itself, right, it's a T8, right? But you'll see now the screw itself is actually, it's not a big screw. It's like a normal size screw. It's just the head of the screw. So it's a normal size screw. It's just the head of the screw is a little bit on the bigger side, which allows it to grip on more surface, which does, in fact, definitely give it a lot more durability. I'm 100% sure of that. So that's interesting, right? That the role that the head actually plays when it comes to the head of the pivot screw, when it comes to durability in your pivot itself. So you guys saw Mornay hanged a 70 kilogram fridge from this knife, and it was basically, the pressure was placed on the pivot, so it was supposed to bend it, right? That was the test, is to see how strong this pivot can actually be. Can it actually take that weight when it's placed under pressure? And it did, like a boss. Still perfect action afterwards, still, you know, perfect deployment, straight, perfect centering. You guys can see there's perfect centering on this knife. Yes, handle, very neutral. Pocket clip, deep carry pocket clip. I think that's my only issue with this whole knife, is that the pocket clip only has one screw. That is my only issue. So there's a cutout for it, and then a little screw for the pocket clip. It is a flat screw, so it's no problem for your clothing. True deep carry. Experience in pocket is amazing. However, now with that being said, this is, I believe, the older model, because from what I've seen from some of the guys that own the newer Odins, there's actually 2 screws in their pocket clips. So yeah, so there's that. So it's not going to be, if you decide to buy this knife, it won't be a problem for you. But yeah, as far as negatives go, that will be my only problem with this knife. Now, I haven't had issues with it, but so I'll say that would be my only potential problem with this knife. But it hasn't been a problem yet. We have some skeletonized liners. So you guys can see I do carry this thing because it's full of stuff, like dust and stuff. So yeah, some nice skeletonized liners. We actually have some good weight on this guy. It's a very comfortable pocket experience. let's test this guy out. Let's see what we have. If our little scale will just work with us today. Come on, 90 grams. So definitely a fantastic weight, right? Super EDC friendly, super pocket friendly. This neutral sort of shape goes in and out of the pocket easily, comfortably, right? Disappears in your pocket completely. And then still, you're not carrying around a lot of weight, but you have a large enough knife to actually fill your hand. Like my pinky is not sitting on the edge at all. It fills my hand nicely. And I have big hands, so I usually go for something like a large honey badger, which I can grip, fully. But this has more than enough space for me, more than enough. And then you have a knife that you can trust, that's durable, that's going to take the punch without the extra weight, because that's the thing. I like a big size knife, right? I like a big size knife because I trust a big size knife. I trust that it will be powerful. I trust that it will be able to take a punch. If I need to choose between the Akal or the Kaiser, original, it's gonna be an easy choice. It's gonna be the Akal because for life, right, or for my daily EDC task, because I understand that with the original I'm gonna be limited. Even though it's an amazing knife, it is basically, it weighs nothing. I think if this thing weighs 50 grams, then I'll be surprised. But it weighs nothing. It will be the most best EDC experience, right? Pocket-friendly experience that you can have. But you want durability. And I'm not confident that this knife can do what this knife can do. I trust size, because size is power. However, with the Odin, even though it is so much smaller, I can honestly say that I will trust the Odin as much as I would trust my Akal to get the job done, right? Because it's been tested, because it has been shown that it is durable. So now you can have basically the experience of the original, the pocket-friendly experience of the original, right? But with the power and durability of the Akal. I mean, that's exactly what you want. That is unbeatable in value. Now, this knife only costs 700 Rand. And honestly, value for money, this has got to be probably in the top 2 best knives from Pickled Steel, right? If you've considered buying an Odin, you won't waste your money. I can promise you that, right? This knife will last a very, very long time. It will be a fantastic experience in your pocket, super durable, will provide you with a various options for cutting tasks, will provide you with, just a lot of comfort in a sense. Because this is still very piercing also. So self-defense, even though knives shouldn't be used for self-defense necessarily, if I'm in that situation, I will trust the Odin to get the job done. The piercing ability on this knife is phenomenal. Cutting ability is phenomenal. Pocket carry experience is legendary, right? Durability is incredible. The weight is fantastic. It's deep carry. It is ambi, so you can switch it around, right? Tip up. It's beautiful. Looks good. Doesn't take up a lot of space. Man, it's 10 out of 10 across the board. If they were to make this knife in a S35VN or a S110, S90, but I think that's more Spyderco's thing, or LMAX, in a super steel, I would be the first one at the door. That is for sure. I definitely approve this knife. I definitely recommend this knife. Links in the description if you want to pick one up. Man, this is terrific. Okay, guys, have a good day. Have a fantastic day. Have a knife day. And remember that no knife means no life.